Good afternoon and welcome to PESA Dialogues. PESA Dialogues is a series of dialogues that we host at Political Economy Southern Africa on different topics, different issues with different stakeholders. This particular series of PESA Dialogues is focused on the role of land reform in rural transformation. So if you could just quickly introduce yourself. By the way, my name is Ntangene Rathogwa and I am the Development and Marketing Director of Political Economy Southern Africa.
Well, my name is Mukundi Mushaphi. I'm the Local Economic Development Manager of Vhembe District Municipality.
What does the Local Economic Development Manager do on a day-to-day basis? What is your role in the municipality or the district?
My major role is to advise the municipality on issues of economy. But in order for us to be able to do that, we should be having a plan. Therefore, we are supposed to develop the local economic development strategy and also rural development strategy, taking into consideration what you want to talk about, and also the spatial development framework. So all those frameworks and plans, when we integrate them into the IDP, they become the guiding light for us to say, this is how we should be developing our economy, this is how we should be developing our people. And in order for us to be able to do that correctly, we need a lot of consultation, so that whatever we'll be doing should be things that are in resonance with what the people want and with what the people are doing already. We try as much as possible to apply a bottom-up approach, but there are areas where you find that this will need technical skills, where we will consult with various other sector departments and also use our technical skills that we have to then supplement the plans that the people are having. From the perspective of the spatial development framework, we look into the land, the situation, the space actually. How is our space? Where can we put what? Where can we have developmental nodes? Because when you're developing an area big as Vhembe, there should be areas that you concentrate on. Otherwise, you may not finish what you want to do. Therefore, the spatial development framework will then, out of the analysis, give you developmental nodes. And in these developmental nodes, this it becomes the areas where we invest a lot as government to ensure that there is enough infrastructure that supports business, that supports economy.
So would you say that there is a lot of research that actually goes into the process of planning in your department?
Yeah, there is a lot of research. That is why sometimes we even outsource some of the work to other business, private sector, who can be able to do it more efficiently than we do. Yeah.
And with the plans that you guys have as a department, how often are these plans renewed? Or is this one plan for 5 years, one plan for 10 years, or is it one plan for a year, yearly plan? How often are they?
We plan in 5 years. And when we plan in 5 years, we review it and then annually. Because what we plan the situation as is today, tomorrow it has changed. So you must then review all those plans that you have on an annual basis so that you target correctly. But now, given the National Development Plan, we want to strive to develop longer plans so that we are in line with the NDP. but we have not yet reached there. But I think the plans that we'll be developing this year should then be able to talk to the NDP even in terms of time horizons.
Oh. So, as the LED manager in the region, how would you describe the local economic development situation in your municipality or in your district? What sort of sectors are coming up? What sort of sectors are more popular? What livelihoods are there? Are there any developments? Are there any improvements? How would you describe the whole situation?
Let me say, in terms of the economics, let me try to describe the economic situation as is at the moment. You'll find that in the space where we are in the rural areas, the major economic player happens to be the public sector, the government, because it is the one that is employing a lot of people. Then it is followed by agriculture in terms of employment creation. But when it comes to income generation or wealth creation, it is mainly the mining sector. Whereas we've got fewer mines, currently we can talk about only one mine that is effectively working, the Venetia mine.
In the district? In the
district. That is the major one. Also, although we have very colliery, it works and stops and so on. But in terms of income generation, it happens to its contribution to the GDP is much higher. Then also retail. Yeah, retail is a bit above mining. It's booming, shopping malls coming and all those things. Yeah, and it is also employing a number of people. So it is also contributing a lot. Although the challenge we have with the retail sector is that the majority of the products that are sold there are not necessarily produced here. So it constitutes a leak of money from our area. So maybe if we up a bit in terms of manufacturing, that is where we do certain things. Also construction is something that is working very well. When you look at the private houses that are being built in the area, people are building houses, beautiful houses, and that is where that is also picking up construction. Also the infrastructure development undertaken by government, both national, provincial and local government. Go to the provincial government, they're building roads and stuff. You go to the local municipalities, they're building streets and stuff.
That employs a lot.
That creates employment. And also when we are providing water, infrastructure and so on, it's also generating a lot of income for the local people.
All right. And in terms of, in a lot of communities, you get that there are people that are employed, there are people that work for the government, some people work for the private sector, and then you have a certain group of self-employed people that are starting their own businesses, people that are starting their own sort of alternative ways of making money. How would you say that that sort of trend is in the district?
Okay, there is also another sector that employs a lot of people that I forgot, the household sector. The fact that people are employed by government or by whosoever, they need somebody to stay at home to work in the houses.
Oh, okay.
It's also doing very well. Whether we will continue to do that after the minimum wage pronouncement, that's the challenge.
Yeah.
But currently it's doing very well. Then I think what you're talking to now, it goes to mainly informal sector. where people do self-employment and so on. You see, particularly in the agricultural products, people there are many people who are in that space. You find people setting up their markets informally, so next to the homes. There's plaza shops and so on in the community. Those I think those are flourishing. If you go to our towns, you'll find women cooking informally.
Selling on the side of the road.
Yeah, selling on the streets there. I think they are also making a lot of money there. So informal sector, I think it is the one that is protecting us and a lot of people for income.
So would you say, I mean, throughout our discussion, we've spoken about agriculture, we've spoken about mining, we've spoken about household, we have spoken about different sectors, and one common thing I would say is that is an allowing factor for all of those sectors to prosper or to flourish is access to land and ownership of land. In the district, how would you say, or how would you rate accessibility to land for these? Let's say I want to start a market on the side of the road. What's the process? Do I just go there and set up, or is there a certain process that I need to follow? And how easy or how difficult is that process?
Access to land is fairly simple in the rural area, because mainly you'll find that it's communal land. And when you want to put up your market stall, just go and talk to the chief. They allow you to, and they tell you that your thing is temporary, so you don't even have to pay if you are doing things like that, because they're saying no, it's just a space for you to work for now. So that one is very easy for that.
It's an easy process.
It's an easy process.
And because
then what you also need also is a trading license from the local municipalities. Particularly when you are working in towns. Also that one is very easily accessible. So that's why you find very many people on the pavement selling.
Okay. So that was what I wanted to ask you. Is there a difference with the two processes if I'm staying in the same point where it's more urban, or if I'm operating in a more rural area?
Yeah, it's a different process, because when you're operating in Thohoyandou, you need the permission from the municipality, and that permission is a bit more formal, unlike in the rural areas, in the villages. In the villages, you just go talk to the chief, say I'm putting it here, then they agree.
And what does it mean when the chief agrees that I can operate here? Does this mean that this is now my section of land or my portion of land, or it just means I am allowed to use
you
that?
Just have a permission to use
it
for a time being, until there is another development that comes to that area, to that particular place. It's not yours. You don't have security of tenure.
Okay. And what would you say have been the biggest successes or biggest challenges in terms of land reform in your district?
In terms of land reform, there are some CPAs that are working well. I can give you an example of the Vhembe CPA in the Liverpool area. They are doing very well. There are others that are not doing that well, that are struggling. Maybe the issue that as government we may have not given them enough support, and also internal conflicts within the CPAs gives challenges. And then also the technical skills that are required, because mostly you'll find that you take an example of let's say if you take an example of the Manavera of Ben Lavin, you'll find that when land was given back to those people, they had to manage wild stock, these wild animals and so on, and they were not up to it. To manage the lodge, they were not up to it. So all those things, maybe there are areas where maybe government should seek new ways of intervening and supporting them. Sometimes you find that after land has been given back to the people, you will need consultants. Consultants sometimes may be the former owners who may not be very happy, and they may not give the support the way they should, and it leads to failure of the programs. I think with the one that I'm talking about, the Ravere one, I think the advantage that they had is that at the leadership of the CPA, there are many people who are learned.
Who have the capacity?
Yeah, who have got the capacity to manage businesses. Also the one of Takuma, I think they're doing fairly well. Yeah.
How do you think government and the general, the different stakeholders in terms of land reform should intervene to make the process or the outcome as beneficial as possible to the people or to the beneficiaries?
I think sometimes the major thing could be facilitation of the communities so that they understand and have a common goal. Once they have a common goal and they understand that you don't get into the land today and make profit tomorrow. It will take a long time, and then they focus on that. The other thing should be the skills. The skills to use the land. If it's farming, we need agricultural and farming skills, and also farming management. Because sometimes we tend to think that if you get a farm and you get farm workers, the farm will run. And that is not the case. Those farm workers still need supervision, still need management and stuff. So that is an area that maybe we are found wanting, our people are found wanting. If we can improve on those, I think it's then that we can then bring the necessary resources, like financial resources, machinery and so on, when they are able to manage those things. I think that is the approach that I think maybe could work.
And finally, just on a personal experience level, what would you say has been the highlights in terms of local economic development in Vhembe? Or maybe some of your proudest moments, or some of your proudest projects that you've worked on in the region?
Firstly, we find that our major role as a leader is to ensure that there is a conducive environment for business sector to come. If you look at the number of investments that we have made that are coming into the area, it implies that maybe there is something good that we're doing. You look, we have got Tabani Mall, recent People's Roots, or all these things came during our area, during our time. Also, if you look at the mall at Malamulele, you look at the mall at Throughway, the China Mall in Messina, and all those things. So it implies that it's like there is something good that we're doing that makes these people want to come. Also, currently we are dealing with the SEZ in a special economic zone. The interaction that we are having with the national government, and the fact that there are people from China who are prepared to come and who have committed to come and invest in the area, implies that there is something good that we are doing. There are also other projects that we initiate. initiated as a municipality. We've got a lodge that is operating well, called our Lodge, next to the Kruger Gate. When we started it, we realized that there was this Transfrontier Park, the Limpopo Transfrontier Park, which joins Mozambique, Zimbabwe and South Africa. And we said, what could our people benefit? Unlike for them to just become workers. And we initiated it. It is operating now. Very soon they'll be beginning to get dividends through their trust. So that is the one that we can say, yes, we were doing something. There is also another initiative that we are coming up with that is coming from the Limpopo Dairy. These guys are saying they want to take land, use land that has been restored to the other people, so that jointly then they will increase their breeding, their dairy stock, and also do extra farming and also plant feed for the cattle and so on. So also that one, I think, if it comes up, it will be something very good. So there are many things that we are trying to do here. There is also one project wherein we are doing with the military veterans. In this one, we want to manufacture concrete products. We have discussed with Centec. They are agreeing to support us and to support the project. We talked to Trichardt, they have agreed to support the project. So all those projects, if it comes up, we want to take advantage of this booming construction that is here. To say, when you want a lintel for you, you must be able to get it here, because we see them in the wholesalers, but we don't know where they come from.
So you want to create them from here? From
here. When you put a roof tile like that one, it should be coming from here. So all those things that we are trying to do, the government has got a sanitation program. When you see precast toilets, all of them, they may be coming from somewhere else, or we don't know where. We want to manufacture them here. So all those things, I think, once those things come up, we should be able to create a number of jobs. And indirectly, they will also create other jobs. Because for the cement, for the sand that is needed, and the concrete that is needed in the process of manufacturing, it should be transported by somebody to there.
That's another job.
That's another job for someone. Concrete must be crushed by someone from somewhere. It's another project that is linked. So there are so many things that out of those we think maybe we'll be able to boost ourselves a bit. So maybe those are the things that we can talk to now, but there are many other things that we're doing.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us on PESA Dialogues. We wish you a successful 2018. It sounds like there is a lot happening in your department, and we wish you success.
Thank you.
Thank you.